Hello, welcome to Gus McDoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through the 16 operations of the German Grand Campaign in Close Combat 3, the Russian Front. Please remember to subscribe, comment, and like the video. And if you want to show your support with a donation, the links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. It is day 3 of 10 on Operation 2 of 16. Battle Briefing. Roads to Moscow, Operation Typhoon. The Bolshevist capital is just beyond the enemy on your front. Break through and you'll be fighting outside the Kremlin walls. Your objective is to knock the enemy forces aside and secure a route to Moscow. Your command, attached to the 19th Panzer Division, should be able to add armour, including Mark IV tanks, to help brush aside the enemy. You can add new teams or refit your existing teams before launching your attack. Intelligence indicates the enemy might have KV or T-34 series tanks to oppose you. The terrain consists of low forest and open fields, offering long and wide fields of fire. Enemy tanks or anti-tank guns in the village can sweep the approaches with deadly fire. Established routes might be faster than cross-country travel, but these routes are more likely to come under enemy fire. Flank attacks might be time-consuming, but offer decisive results. To the Kremlin. Before we get started, I experienced a minor technical fail since recording the last episode. This meant I had to go back to an earlier version and replay the last episode, and the battle had a slightly different ending. The first time, I lost the Panzer 35T and Sturmgeschütz with 1 dead and 3 wounded in what was largely a tank and artillery duel. This time around, I lost 2 dead from the Panzer 4D with damage to the Panzer 4D and anti-tank scout car. So, we start with Von McDowell, Kommando Behorden 1941, Light Infantry, Schützen 1941, Machine Gun Infantry, Maschinengewehr 34, Early War, Medium Tank Panzer 4D, damaged, Medium Assault Gun Sturmgeschütz 40C, Light Tank Panzer 35T, Anti-Tank Gun 5cm Pack 35-36, Anti-Tank Carrier Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251x10 with a 3.7cm pack, Medium Mortar 8cm Granatwerfer, and Anti-Tank Scout Car Sonderkraftfahrzeug 250x10 with a 3.7cm pack, damaged. First things first, let's refit some of these teams. I can repair or upgrade the Sonderkraftfahrzeug. Half-track, anti-tank, Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251x10, 3.7cm pack. Uses medium half-track's 3.7cm main gun as mobile artillery for infantry support, reconnaissance, counterattacks or mobile defense. Half-tracks use speed instead of armor for protection, avoid tanks and anti-tank guns. It is equipped with 3.7cm L46 cannon, coaxial MG34, Panzerbuchse 39 anti-tank rifle, and 4 Walther P38 pistols for the crew. Next, the Panzer 4D. Repairs. Next, let's build up Kampfgruppe McDowell. The briefing warned they are up against KV and T-34 series tanks, so I want more anti-tank artillery, and there really is only one choice. Heavy anti-tank gun, 8.8cm Flak 36. Position this 8.8cm gun with a clear field of fire. Use this gun primarily against tanks and vehicles. Use it against other targets when opportunities occur. Keep a supporting infantry or machine gun team nearby for protection. It is equipped with 8.8cm flak, 7 Mauser rifles, and 5 hand grenades. Finally, with the Kampfgruppe becoming more mechanized, it is time for Von McDowell to upgrade. Command Vehicle, Command Sonderkraftfahrzeug 250x10. Commanders provide leadership on the battlefield. This vehicle makes commanders more visible, but enables them to move quickly without becoming fatigued. This half-track has a 3.7cm main gun, machine gun and thin armour. It is equipped with 3.7cm L46 cannon, coaxial MG34 and 3 Walther P38 pistols for the crew. The addition of an anti-tank cannon and machine gun is a real upgrade from the command team's small arms. And of course, rename the team. And that is Kampfgruppe McDowell. Let's examine the terrain and develop a plan. North is to the top of the map. The road to Moscow crosses the river in 2 places before passing through a village. Snow covers fields and forest, and the river is frozen. The terrain consists of low forest and open fields, offering long and wide fields of fire. I have marked 6 areas moving west to east. Number 1, the Spur, a north-south ridgeline with woods at the north end and a bare hill at the south. The ridge shields the area to the west and the road to Smolensk from observation and fire from the village. The bare hill offers the best observation point over the road to Moscow. Number 2, the ford over the river. The road to Moscow crosses the river at this point. To the south and east are woods. 2 burned buildings are on the far side. The road then runs along the river with woods either side. Number 3, Strong Point Ivan. Trench lines here control the road and the second crossing point over the river. A second support line of trenches is on the far side of the rise in the ground. Number 4, the low ridge east of the river. A gun position is dug into the ridgeline and can observe or fire at the bare hill or at anything coming down the road. The ridge itself blocks observation to the east. Number 5, woods either side of the river. The woods provide concealment, if not cover, and could permit outflanking movement, but any movement through the trees would be slow. Number 6, the village on the road to Moscow. Only some of the buildings have been burnt out. But between Borisov's house to the north and Kanev's house to the south, many buildings remain intact, including a 3-story hall that provides cover, concealment, and good observation over the surrounding area. Key terrain includes the bare hill for its observation, the ford for mobility, and the village as a possible defensive position. But Strong Point Ivan is the decisive terrain. Forces here control movement along the road and can fire up the road or west to the ridgeline. Remember the briefing. Established routes might be faster than cross-country travel, but these routes are more likely to come under enemy fire. Flank attacks might be time-consuming, but offer decisive results. Intelligence indicates the enemy might have KV or T-34 series tanks. The Russians may defend forward, 2 up 1 back, with positions at Strong Point Ivan on the low ridge east of the river and in the woods east of the ford. This would give them broad coverage, but their forces would be far from each other and unable to provide mutual support. The Russians could instead consolidate their defences around the second river crossing, 1 up, 2 back. Strong Point Ivan would control the road with supporting positions across the river in the woods or village. Each of the supporting forces could directly support Strong Point Ivan or move to counterattack on a flank. The first option is to simply follow the road to Moscow, cross the ford, assault Strong Point Ivan, and push our way through against any opposition. The key risk is crossing the ford. If the enemy have anti-tank defences covering the crossing, the attack could stall and rapidly lose combat power. Once past here, a frontal attack on Strong Point Ivan, then the village, seems a costly way forward. Also, this approach does not make best use of the towed anti-tank artillery. A variation of the first course of action is to seize the ford, then undertake a flanking movement through the woods to the north to get behind Strong Point Ivan and the village. This would be slower, but would dislocate the likely Russian defences. However, the ford still represents the point of maximum risk, and we could take unnecessarily high casualties just getting to the woods east of the river. Arguably, my strongest asset in this fight is the newly acquired 8.8cm flak cannon. This is the one weapon that can reliably knock out KV or T-34 series tanks. So, I should place my towed anti-tank guns in a good location to win the firefight against the enemy's key assets, and then build the rest of the battle plan around them. The natural location Indeed, the only location is Bear Hill. From here, the guns can cover the open ground, Strong Point Ivan, and even parts of the village. And the mortar can target infantry from a firing position near the road to Smolensk. The infantry will take position in the woods to protect the flank of the guns. And the 6 armoured vehicles will remain concealed behind the ridge in double wedge formation, with the tanks in front and half-tracks in the rear. Once the artillery have won the firefight, the armour will charge over the crest of the ridge towards the village and mop up any remaining Russian resistance. Crossing a ridge. False. Cross extended high ground which cannot be avoided, closely echeloned together so that the enemy can acquire you close together and destroy you individually. Correct. Cross the high ground in a line so that all vehicles are ready to engage an anti-tank gun or an artillery battery behind the crest. News reports indicate the Russians are digging in and preparing to defend Moscow. The longer it takes for the Germans to get to the Russian capital, the more time the defenders have to prepare. So the Kampfgruppe has been tasked to probe forward along the road to Moscow and secure a river crossing for the rest of the 19th Panzer Division. Intelligence indicates KV and T-34 tanks ahead, and Division has assigned an 8.8 cm gun to the Kampfgruppe. Sick of trudging through the snow, von McDowell has commandeered a half-track for the probe. I've now moved my troops into position and will execute the plan in real time. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the various courses of action and if you have identified a viable alternative. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And so we begin. Infantry in the tree line in the low ground opposite. The mortar opens a fire mission. And the anti-tank guns.
Мы пропали!
The MG-34 does not have line of sight. Mortar fire shifts. No sign of Russian forces in depth. German infantry probe forward. The Russian infantry is destroyed. The mortar checks fire. Incoming. Indirect fire from a Russian mortar, a heavy mortar, probably 120mm. The gun crews take cover. More Russian infantry in the low ground. The guns and mortar engage. Niedermeyer in the 8.8 cm is killed by a mortar blast. The MG-34 crew now have line of sight. and open fire. The light infantry also have line of sight. Russian infantry to the north, along the river.
Спасите меня!
Achtung Panzer, a BT-7M. The 8.8cm gun does not have the shot. Hit! The BT-7M brews up. The shot came from the Panzer IV, firing from a hull-down position behind the ridge. A direct hit by the Russian mortar on the 8.8cm kills Kortenhaus and wounds 3 others.
Wir sparen Munition.
The German mortar checks fire. The 5cm gun crew traverse the gun. They've seen something. But what? The 8.8cm gun crew have also traversed. Time to release the tanks. Panzer vorwärts. Russians in the woods to the north. The light infantry reorients. The mortar opens a fire mission.
Wir sparen Munition.
The armour crests the hill at the same time, so all guns can be brought to bear on any targets. Achtung, Panzer! A T-34 at the riverbank. The 8.8cm does not have the shot. The Sturmgeschütz halts and gets a near miss.
Truppe umgruppiert.
Another near miss. The Panzers push through the trees on the other side of the frozen river.
Мы сдаемся!
A Russian soldier surrenders. Achtung, Panzer! A KV at Strongpoint Ivan. The 88 has the shot. The T-34 hits and immobilizes the Panzer 35T. The Stug hits and damages the T-34. The Panzer 35T has a flanking shot on the KV-1A.
Getroffen.
Я больше не могу!
The Panzer 4D hits the T-34. The 8.8cm immobilizes the KV-1A. The KV-1A hits the Panzer 35T. Von Wittke is dead and Pavlov unconscious.
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt.
The Stug takes a shot at the T-34.
Спасайся, кто может!
The crew abandon their vehicle.
Спасайся, кто может!
Hit! The 8.8cm flak gun hits the KV-1A, which starts to burn. The crew abandon their burning vehicle. The Panzer 4D moves forward. The half-tracks now commit to battle. But the Russians have had enough. Major victory. The battle ended because the Russians fled the battlefield. The Germans gained control of the area and will advance. German losses were 3 killed, 2 wounded and 1 tank damaged. Russian losses were 15 killed, 5 wounded, 1 prisoner, 2 tanks destroyed and 1 tank captured. Let's examine the Kampfgruppe. Von McDowell received the Iron Cross First Class. This was from the previous battle, the assault on the first fortification ring. The infantry saw some action. The Panzer 4D is credited with a tank kill, the BT-7M. As is the 8.8cm gun, the KV-1A. No one is credited with the captured T-34. And the 5cm anti-tank gun and mortar did some damage to the Russian infantry. Key indicators in the roster are improvements in experience and morale. Unfortunately, in the Panzer 35T, Oberpanzerschütze von Wittke was killed and Panzerschütze Pavlov seriously wounded by the KV-1A. In the 8.8cm gun, Oberkanonier Niedermeyer and Kanonier Kortenhaus were killed, and Kanonier Kaufmann seriously wounded by Russian 120mm mortar fire. Otherwise, the Kampfgruppe was okay. So, what did we learn? The briefing warned us of the presence of KV and T-34 series tanks. So, rather than chasing ground, focusing the battle on defeating the enemy's key assets was the right approach. Once enemy armour was defeated, so was their morale, and they fled the battlefield. Bear Hill was the best position for the guns, but left them exposed to counter battery fire from the Russian 120mm mortar, resulting in 2 dead and 1 seriously wounded. Doctrinally advancing the armour together over the ridgeline, rather than one by one, also proved its value. It allowed the 2 panzers, the Stug and 2 Panzerabwehrkanonen, to concentrate the fire of 5 guns on 2 enemy tanks. Even the KV-1A and T-34 could not withstand this overmatch. Finally, in all the armoured excitement, it would be easy to overlook the importance of the infantry protecting the artillery's flank. The Russian probe through the woods towards the mortar was detected by the German Schützen on the ridge and checked by a combination of mortar and rifle fire. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.